So when you're starting up, and I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs, vouch for, they adopt the models like, lean startup model or business canvas models. So in your case, have you seen or have you used them and have you found them to be successful?
Oh yeah, lean startup model is something that definitely has helped us. Okay. Because if we cannot measure something fast enough, then it's difficult to see whether we are going right or not. Lean startup is something that I think is very, very helpful, particularly in the hardware startup, because the cycle time for the product market is much longer. So you have to really quickly get something outside the door and test the market and then double down on it.
Right.
Because there's no recourse for that.
Right.
So lean startup is something that is consistently I really believe that at least hardware startup should focus on lean startup.
Right.
And quickly get something out of the door.
Got it. Okay.
Because you never know the difference in the software and the hardware product life cycle is in the software you can just fix it overnight.
Right.
In the hardware, if you design a product wrong, you are probably like 6 months to 8 months away from making the next iteration. So before you double down, you want to make sure that you have got the product market fit.
Got it.
The only way you can get it is you actually go to the market and validate that hypothesis that whatever product that has been developed that is been validated in the market.
Right.
So lean startup is absolutely paramount on that.
So, but I did have one concern about lean startup. I'm not sure if you agree with it. The fact that you develop something, you go to the market, get feedback. I'm not sure if lean startup definitely would work in a case where you're actually coming up with something very innovative, very different, where people may not at that moment feel that that is needed. So I think lean startup works really well for most cases, but when it comes to doing something very innovative, lean startup in that case may fail, because then people, when you go and ask feedback, or, get feedback from people on things which are actually not even there, which people have not even thought about, sometimes people are going to give you the wrong feedback.
No, that is where the lean startup comes in, right? You build something which is with minimum viable product. You don't build the full suite of product. You just build something that barely matches the customer requirements.
Right.
Barely solves the problem, not at the full scale.
Right.
And then you get to validate.
But do you think lean startup? Do you think if Steve Jobs would have been successful if he had followed the lean startup method? Because he always believed customers don't know what they want.
Steve Jobs, but the difference is you don't. Steve Jobs comes once in a billion. 100 years.
Agreed.
That the probability of being Steve Jobs and succeeding is very minuscule, but the probability of building a decent startup is very high if you go with a lean startup mechanism, because Steve Jobs is Steve Jobs.